Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, I am Jonathan, your host here at QuickBird Gaming. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of QuickBird News. For this episode, we'll be covering the 7 days of gaming from Sunday 1 December to Saturday 7 December. 7 days of gaming news in less than 7 minutes. And since I'm on the clock, let's get into it. And today we have to start with an old familiar target, Ubisoft.
Oh shit, here we go again.
First up, I turn to this article from Engadget, published on Wednesday, 4 December, that reads, Ubisoft is finally giving up on XDefiant. Now, XDefiant is their team shooter that they launched, I believe, in June of this year or May of this year, or somewhere in there, and they are shutting it down. It's going to run for about 6 more months, and then June of 2025, it'll be taken offline. This shutdown is going to take 277 workers with it, which is about half of XDefiant's workforce. The other half is going to be repurposed internally. It's also going to bring about the shutdown of the Ubisoft San Francisco studio, the one in Yokota, Japan, and the Ubisoft studio in Sydney, Australia is going to be streamlined as a result of this closure. Now, this is another blow for Ubisoft in a year that they have taken body blow after body blow. They had their failure with Skull and Bones, the quadruple A game, as one of their executives called it, that went absolutely nowhere, has cost them a ton of money. Star Wars Outlaws has underperformed. Last I saw, about 1 million copies, which leaves them well in the red of development costs of that game. Then you had the XDefiant shutdown, and Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed until February of next year. It was originally scheduled for November of this year. And all this talk has intensified the rumors of Ubisoft. We're discussing a buyout option with Tencent, trying to keep, a lot of the talk is whether or not the Guillemot family is going to keep control of Ubisoft. But Tencent is obviously going to want more control if they put forward the cash. These rumors have been going around, but they're really starting to get more intense now. Now, personally, in my opinion, if Assassin's Creed Shadows does not overperform, I think Ubisoft is boned. I don't think they're going to recover from this. They will be a shadow of their former self if they exist at all. And that game is now coming out, I think, on February 14th. It is in a window with a lot of other highly anticipated games. Kingdom Come Deliverance moved their date up, so they're now going to be releasing a week and a half in front of AC Shadows, which I'll cover in a moment. Monster Hunter Wilds, which had 500,000 people in their open beta, is releasing at the end of that month. I think Ubisoft is in real trouble here, folks. It does not look good. Next, I want to talk about 2 big releases that just happened this week. The first, according to this article published on Game Rant earlier today on Saturday, 7 December, Path of Exile 2 is already one of the most popular Steam games ever. It has surpassed 500,000 players in its second day. And as you scroll down here, the first line says it cracked Steam's top 15 for the most concurrent players at any one time. So it's a pretty impressive launch. Looking over at the Steam database, you can see it did top over 500,000 players today, and it's still in early access. I believe it is supposed to be going to full open access in several months. And who knows what the ceiling on this game is going to be. Evidently, very well anticipated, and a lot of folks are checking in on it. Along the same lines, this article from PC Gamer from Thursday, 5 December, it says Marvel Rivals just launched and already has more than 400,000 players. This game has taken a little bit of heat for being somewhat of an Overwatch clone. However, I think people are really enjoying playing their favorite Marvel characters, so this game has been off to a very good start as well. Next up is this story I alluded to earlier in the Ubisoft segment. This article from PC Gamer published on Thursday, 5 December. It reads, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is arriving 1 week early. Now, if you scroll down this article, the game was originally scheduled to be released on February 11th of 2025, and now appears to be releasing on February 4th of 2025. They actually moved the release date up a week, which is great news for fans of this game. I know the original game, when it released in, I think, 2018, had quite a few bugs, and a lot of people criticized things like the difficulty of saving, and there were some issues with it. But it was a pretty well-received game, and according to this article, it sold about 8 million copies overall in its life history. So there's a lot of folks looking forward to this. If they have ironed out the bugs, could be a pretty good gameplay experience. I think people are really looking for an immersive medieval role-playing game experience. This game is kind of a niche that doesn't have a lot of competition, so it'll be interesting to see how this one is received. Next up is this article from IGN, published on Friday, 6 December, and the headline reads, Life is Strange Double Exposure developer Deck 9 announces its second round of layoffs in 2024. Right at the top of the article, I've highlighted where they had to cut about 20% of their staff earlier this year, and this is after a round of layoffs from 2023. A lot of games are failing and studios are closing. This is just becoming the norm this year, unfortunately. I have some thoughts as to why that is, why so many games are failing. I won't get into it in this video. I have another video coming out about that. But the upshot here is if you like a game, get out there and support it. Because if you don't, their studios aren't going to survive. This is just the reality now. And I'll end on a slightly positive note on this article published on Friday, 6 December by Eurogamer. EA makes more patents public in commitment to improving gaming accessibility. The short of it is that there are a lot of patents involving games accessibility, including things like recognizing photosensitivity, speech patterns, and voice to text kind of things for gamers who have difficulties with disabilities. And EA has basically said these are going to be open source and anybody can use them. And which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to see that these tools will be available for any developer to reach a greater swath of gamers. And that's nothing but a good thing. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of Quick Bird News, 7 days of gaming news in less than 7 minutes. As always, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, or commenting down below. I appreciate you all hanging with me till the end. I'm going to get back to it. You all go out and live your best lives, and you all stay gaming.